for making it happen. I do realize it is late in the evening for both of these guys coming out of New York. But with the manufacturing edition being rolled out, we've got some exciting new ISVs that will help support the manufacturing edition. Bimser providing the quality control aspect to manufacturing, which is always important, and we'll hopefully have CAD to demonstrate how you can take a design concept and create a film. But that's Bimser's stage today. So Kevin, I'll hand over to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thanks for the introduction, Carl. Well, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar session about how to manage quality management digitally with the help of QADMS Advanced. Thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. So I'm going to be sharing my screen as to who we are and what we do, and about QDMS as to quality management, how it is actually running, working. I'll keep it as quick as possible, and then my colleague is with me, Samvat, and he'll be demonstrating actually QDMS for you, so you can see it in action. Perfect. So let me share my screen, and then we can jump into the details. All right, it's coming to your screen right now. Perfect. Great. So we'll be talking about QDMS today, our quality risk audit and compliance management software. I have my colleagues with me, as I mentioned. I have Samvat and I have Furkan with us, our QDMS product manager. So together we'll be demonstrating QDMS interacting with MYOB Advanced. Brief introductions about Bimser International. We are an enterprise software maker since 1998. We are based in New York. In essence, we help companies simplify their business processes and help them adapt to digital transformation. An educational internship program called MYOB International, where we teach university students how to do pre-sales and software engineering. Nowadays, we are actually running this program remotely due to COVID-19. At Bimser International, actually, we are a group of companies, as you see on the left. We are based in New York. We are also active in Europe, Middle East, as well as Asia. Now, with our partnership with MYOB, we are very excited to be active in Australia and New Zealand area as well. As I mentioned, we are a group of companies. We are about 200 people, and we are a growing organization. We are also ISO 9001 certified and ISO 27001 certified. So we have policies and procedures in place to make sure every time we deliver our products, we have the highest quality standards available. And we'll be talking more about quality management standards today. As I mentioned earlier, we are very excited about our partnership with MYOB, and we are looking forward to be even closer with MYOB ecosystem. So I'd like to thank again Carl and MYOB for this opportunity to meet with you and MYOB partners. At the moment, we have two products available in MYOB store, marketplace, and we have been our asset maintenance and management, asset maintenance, facility and energy management software. It also has fleet management capabilities. And we have QDMS available in the marketplace for quality risk, audit and compliance management. Since 1998, we have been very focused on our product range. We have IBA as our workflow and document management system. Beam is our asset maintenance facility management software. QDMS, our quality risk, audit and compliance management software. And we'll talk more about QDMS in a minute. Ensemble is our intelligent business process modeling and performance management software. And finally, we have contract management in the bottom, as you see, that helps companies manage their contracts in a paperless environment. It also has DocuSign integration available for electronic signatures. Here you can see how many projects we have delivered since 1998. It also shows more or less how many customers we have. When you look at QDMS, for example, we have more than 1,000 customers, and we have more than 1 million professional users for QDMS. So that's a very mature product, very scalable. And we have been developing QDMS since 1998. It's actually independent software solution. It can run standalone. And thanks to our integration with MYOB Advanced, now these two systems are ready to run together. Also, with integrations, QDMS can run also with other accounting and ERP systems of MYOB as well. So we have those flexibility. Historically, we are coming from enterprise markets, and that's why we have a lot of reputable customers available. We work with 3M, we work with Ford, Hyundai, Bridgestone, Nissan, and Alliance, for example, some of our customers say about it. So how we are positioning our products are actually, it's very important. Our position is basically we are coming from enterprise market, and if you are in mid market, and if you are a growing company, if you have multiple locations, and if you are looking for scale to grow with MYOB Advanced, then our products are ideal for you. That's actually our position when you look at it carefully. We also have customers in pharma, medical device, and medical equipment industry, and also we are active in aerospace, aviation, and defense industry. When we talk about quality management and compliance, these industries are very important as to comply and also to manage quality operations. Then I'll talk about details in a minute. Okay, great. So I just wanted to introduce Bimser International in a nutshell. So let's talk about digital transformation of quality management, where we are coming from. So when we talk about digital transformation, basically, as for quality management, it is about organizations, strategy and structure to adapt and to capture opportunities coming from technology, basically. The idea is to have continuous improvement and to have increasing customer satisfaction. These are the major goals. So when we look at quality management systems, in essence, there are different quality management systems. When we look at different verticals, I just make a list of it. It also shows our target market as for QDMS, what type of markets, what type of verticals we can go for to offer QDMS in association with MYOB Advanced. So aviation and aerospace industry, defense industry, that's a heavily regulated industry. So they have standards such as AS9100, ISO 9001. So that is very important for those companies to comply to different standards. Also, the automotive industry, construction industry, they also have their own standards as to quality management. Food and beverage, healthcare, manufacturing. I make a pretty actually nice list as to what type of industries are there as for quality management and what type of standards they have. So they have some commonalities, some common points. All these standards, quality management standards and regulations, they have certain objectives in mind when they were actually put together. Having a safe working environment is one of them, for example. Making safe products, increasing customer satisfaction, and improvement in place. These are important things to keep in mind is to comply with these standards. And these standards come with certain requirements, documentation, for example. Any action that you take, any test that you perform, these systems require you to document your activities. Also, having control points are very important. Communicating lessons learned internally is very important. And taking corrective action is very important. So you study any problem, you analyze it, and you come up with certain solutions. And then you take corrective actions to perpetuate those improvements in the organization. These are critical. So when we talk to different companies, they have different standards and they have actually some challenges. So we have been talking to different companies as per our experience and interaction with customers. For example, many companies, they have hard time managing documentation in their quality management system. That's a very common problem. And sometimes they lose sight of their standards. Maybe they are compliant with ISO 9001, which is very universal, same in Australia and same in New Zealand, same in North America or Europe, for example. But you got to document your activities. You cannot just do it verbally or with honor system. You have to be documented. And another problem is, another challenge for most of the companies, basically to find a central repository for corrective actions, for documentation, and for the quality management system, in essence, the way that you are running it. So that is why actually we put together these framework. We call these proactive quality management framework. That's our own making, based on our observations and our learning from the marketplace. So based on this framework, there are three pillars. There is assurance, there is control, and there is predict. Assurance actually refers to your quality management system. There may be your administrative operations, sales, marketing, procurement, purchasing, and so on, for example. And predict is also very important. That is basically referring to IoT devices and smart sensors. Nowadays, for example, for food and beverage industry, same also for pharmaceutical industry, for example, you need to monitor the temperature of your work environment. So you need to go check how the temperature is. Typically, we see that many companies do this manually. They literally go to the refrigerators, or they literally measure the temperature in their work environment. With the help of IoT devices nowadays, you can remotely monitor this. And if there is any irregularities, if there is something out of range, then you can trigger an automatic maintenance order, for example. And as to control, this is not only about manufacturing. When we talk about quality management systems, all these quality management systems I talk about, ISO 9001, AS9100, SQF, and so on, they touch every part of industry except finance and accounting. Meaning, it's not only about manufacturing, it also refers to your administrative operations. That is how we put together QDMS to address these challenges and help you adopt proactive quality management framework that I just shared with you. QDMS is a quality, risk, audit, and compliance management system. We have been developing it since 1998. We have more than 1,000 corporate customers and more than 1 million professional users. It has a very modern architecture in terms of its technology. It is already integrated with MYOB Advanced, and as I mentioned earlier, it's ready to integrate other software solutions of MYOB Advanced. It is ready to integrate with CRM systems, manufacturing execution systems, IoT devices. So any modern software or device that you have, we can integrate and have you have an integrated management system in place. The idea is to have an integrated management system and to have paperless work environment. And let's remember, QDMS is web-based, especially nowadays we are facing COVID-19, working remotely and performing remotely is getting more and more important for all of us. So QDMS has those capabilities. We can access QDMS via web browsers remotely. You don't have to be where your server is, where your cloud is. Basically, you can deploy anywhere. So that modern technology is critical nowadays. With the help of QDMS, you can comply with many different standards: ISO 9001, ISO 14000, ISO 27000, and so on. So you can comply with more than one in one QDMS instance, for example. As I mentioned, that's web-based. It has a web-based architecture that's permission-based, which is very important in terms of security. And it has been QDMS is modular. So we have it modular. It is because there are different quality management systems as I listed on the screen. ISO, IATF. So they have, you may not need the entire modular set of QDMS. We have more than 30 modules available for QDMS. So you can pick and choose what module you like. Then maybe one will have your manage your policies, procedures, SOPs, protocols in a digital environment. So that is very important for many companies. We have customer complaint module, corrective action module, training, collaboration, and many other modules as you see. Let me remind you that QDMS works on also an application for Android and iOS devices. We'll also show you in a minute about the mobile application. So you can access the system from anywhere you like, devices available. And most of the time, quality management teams appreciate, especially tablets and smartphones. It is because if you are conducting an audit on site, you can just take a picture, you can upload it, and you can complete the audit or report anything out of range or out of standard right away with your mobile device for continuous improvement. A brief use case before we go to the demo session. This is one of our customers in mid-market. They have 70+ employees. They have one production facility. A growing company, nice company, family-owned, and that's they're in healthcare and medical device industry. They have various compliance requirements, such as ISO, Good Manufacturing Practices, GMP, FDA. EU MDR is for the European Union's medical device standard. MDA-SAP is another medical device standard, and so is the Canadian medical device standard that they are compliant with. So they have a lot of compliance requirements if you think about it. Therefore, they have a lot of paperwork to manage, especially for compliance purposes. Policies, procedures, and here is the thing: you may have policies, procedures, and SOPs in place, but this is an ongoing process, meaning you may want to have a certain procedure for a certain test today, but say 6 months later, 1 year later, you may want to update it. So once you start to have versioning, it becomes more and more difficult for companies to manage this documentation. Because every time there is an update, you need to also let your team members know what the update is about. That is very important. As I mentioned earlier, it's one of the objectives. You need to communicate the update with the team members, which is critical for any compliance requirements, especially those I'm listing right now on the screen. So this customer of ours, they have the difficulty of managing documents. And then the inspector comes or auditor comes to the company for inspections and audits. They had hard time passing these inspections. So they had hard time proving the documentation that they are doing their work based on these standards. That was very difficult for them. Also, they had hard time managing their corrective actions because let's remember, any quality management system, ISO, AS9100, IATF, you need to make decisions based on the evidence. So evidence means you need to have physical evidence, documentation, analysis, studies, right? So if you don't have these in place, then how are you going to take corrective actions? How are you going to make the decision based on evidence? So that was one of their challenges as well for them. So once we deployed them, they first of all overhaul their quality management system. They also modernize and update all their policies and procedures. And QDMS helped them digitize all their paper-based policies, procedures, and SOPs. Also, they started to have easy audit experience. Let's also remember, audits help you improve your process, especially cross audits, sales department audits, production department audits, say procurement department. That's very helpful. And at the end, they increase their productivity and they started to have corrective actions for continuous improvement, which is very, very critical. That's a brief use case that I want to share with you. One thing that I like to remind you, we are channel only, so we sell through our partners. By the way, I need to share with you. And before your questions, I like to invite my colleague Sam up. Sam is our pre-sales engineer from our engineering team, and he has an agenda. He'll be demonstrating control document management, customer feedback management, corrective action, and others integrating QDMS. In addition, he'll be also showing you intelligent business process modeling capabilities, and as well as performance management. So you can see how you can design your business processes, how you can manage your risk, and how you can actually link your risks into your business process model, intelligent business process model. We'll show you that. We'll also demonstrate dashboards, reports, and native mobile app as well. Nowadays, PPE management is very important for personal protection and for personal protection equipment. And we'll also address that, and we'll also show you how companies can manage their PPE programs digitally with the help of QDMS. That's very, very important for any company, any industry. Having said that, I'd like to invite my colleague, Sam, up to our virtual stage, I must say. And Sam will be demonstrating QDMS for you. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please type in the chat box, and we'll be addressing your questions in Q&A session. Sam, if you are ready, please take over the screen.
Sure. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for your presentation. And I'm going to share my screen, which, let me share my. Okay. There we go. Can you see my screen?
Okay, coming up. Okay, perfect.
Okay. And thank you for joining today's webinar. And this is Sam from Bimser International. And this is the home screen of MYOB. And as Kevin mentioned, our software is certified by MYOB, and also we have the integration with MYOB, the data in MYOB as well. So today I will show you QDMS, and this is the platform that you can find to manage your process, that you can create your modules, and also find out the process for different purposes, like audit management, so that you can find what should be the process, should be or the flow of your process. Like we have the audit planning published, and then to the auditors, and the last it will be closing and report. So you can find your flow, and also make sure all the employees and every departments of your company follow this flow that you have defined it in QDMS. And also in QDMS, you can find the scorecard, and the system will show you all the data in, and also show you if they meet the standard that we set up, or the reference value that we set up initially. For example, to this year, like December 2019, then we can see different aspects, like if they meet the requirement and what is the status. Like you can see the smiley face, which means we are above the standard. And if it is like moderate or not smiling at all, which means it's just meet the target that we set up. And you can see the red face, like which means we are performing under the expectation, so that we have to improve on those aspects. For example, for the cost of quality appraisal and also the internal failure. So this all your real-time data will be shown in this list, and also you can change the view and then have your overview and keep tracking the performance on different aspects. And to the measure module, then you can see also like the performance, but right here in this module, it shows you all the data in detail instead of having a scorecard and get an overview. So those will show you what is the value, the actual value that we have entered, and also the target that we set up for this year. Those will be shown in a list and also show in a graph, so you can see what is the actual and also the target, and also the alarm value that we set up and how we are doing in the sub-elements. And also we can change the view to overview, and all of those data will be shown in right here by month, as we can set up on the right, so that you can put it like quarterly, semi-yearly, and also annually. So now we have our process managed in QDMS, and also all keep tracking the performance and also the KPI of our company. Again, we also have QDMS is an interface that helps you to manage your quality as well. So that I will show this, put this on your screen. And right here, this is QDMS also. And after you log in, you can find all the pending tasks and also the request for approval. And this interface is used by the regular users and also the management level, so that they can come into the system and get into the modules like managing the customer complaint, reading the control document, which I will cover it in a minute. Anyway, coming back to this home screen, so that you can find all the requests for approval and also the tasks. Is make sure you will not miss any important task right after you log in, so that you can get the quick connection from this widget. For example, there's a document is waiting for my approval, so that I can get a quick connection right here. As QDMS is a permission-based system, so that not everyone can see everything in this software. So you will see what you are supposed to do based on your role, position, profession, department, or group. As I'm now logging in as the admin, so that I have the full control of the system. Especially in this main menu, as Kevin mentioned, QDMS is a modular system, which you can pick and choose these modules that you want to have on your server. It's either on cloud or on your on-premise server. And in this main menu, you can see different modules. And today, according to our agenda, I will firstly show you the control document management module. In this module, you can create your new document, start your revision process, manage your folder structure, and also read your document. In terms of reading your document, you do not need any other software or solution. QDMS support you upload different file type, for example, your specifications, procedures, SOPs, training materials, and so on. And on your left, you can see a nice folder structure, and all the documents will be shown on your right. And you can just click it and start reading your document. QDMS supports different file formats like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, image, video, audio, and K file if needed. All your documents will be shown in the built-in browser of QDMS. We also call it a Bimser viewer, so that you can find right here. The content will be shown in this viewer, and you can find your basic document information and also all the version of your document. And with the permission, you can go back to the previous version of your document. As I mentioned about the permission, you can see the permissions that are granted to the users or user groups, like reading the document, printing it, revising it, getting back to the previous version, or deleting your document. You can find this distribution list, which means who or which users or user groups have the obligation to read this document once it is uploaded or updated. And you can see the approver for this document for uploading or revising. And if you find something wrong, then you can reach out to the approver. And while you're uploading or revising your document, you can manage the permission matrix, distribution, and also the approval list. At last, you can see all your activities, all the users' activities will be recorded in a log of QDMS. So you can see who did what on what day under this history page. We also call it the audit trail, so that you can find who did all the activities and keep tracking the action of the users in the system. In every modules of QDMS, you can find the reporting tool which allows you to create the ready-made report. For example, in this control document management module, you can see document status report, so that we can generate one as an example. And on your left, you can put your condition in a the folder that you want to check, and then you can make a search, and all the documents will be shown in a list with their status. And anytime you can use the search bars provided on the top, like we want to see if there's any document that is under revision process, then the list will update it accordingly, and you can export your report into Excel or PDF file for sharing with any responsible parties. And right here in the main menu, you can also see external customer complaint module. And actually, you can use it for recording all the feedback, including the positive feedback. So that we also call it customer feedback module. It doesn't have to negative for the feedback, correct? So that we can, for example, the compliment, then we can also record right here. And I'm going to get into this module and show you all the records that we have in this module. And what you will see is all the records, they are in different status. For example, like open, follow, review, result. So that it's based upon the progress that you're handling that particular record. So now QDMS is taking us to the page. There we go. As I mentioned, they're in final, reviewed, and opened status. And anytime you can create a new one. And for creating a new customer complaint, then you can enter the the feedback description and the detail, define the category, and assign this to a solution team, and add any attachment if needed as a reference for this for the solution team. So I am also showed you the whole result or the full report of our complaint that we record in QDMS. And anytime you can pull out a report like this and show this to the auditor, for example, from the standard like ISO, BRC, SQF, for example. So it will show you the record, like the description, detail, the solution team information, the first progress report, the final report, and all the action that we carry out in order to cope with this particular complaint. This is actually how the flow is in this module, but please keep in mind that we can always update the design of your form. For example, for creating your new customer complaint or feedback, you want to add some more fields or delete some of the fields that we have in the system, you're more than welcome to tell us to do so. And also, we can manage the workflow behind this for this module as well. And then I want to show you is the corrective action module, as known as CAPA. So that in this module, you can see different status of your corrective action, and you can create a new one similar to the customer feedback module, so that you can enter your department and the corrective action source. And for the department information or employee and also vendor or customer, those information are coming from MYOB. And also you can enter your non-conformity and non-conformity description. After that, you can schedule a team and then attach any document if needed as a reference for the team, and also as a record for this non-conformity. And I'm going to put this out. And by the way, when you create your customer complaint record, and you're more than welcome to create a corrective action associated with that complaint record, since we have a built-in integration between different modules in QDMS. And in corrective action, you can see this report and show you all the non-conformity, the description. You can see the solution team, your first progress report. You can record the what you have found for your records analyze, and also the action that you assigned to the work employee or the team member in order to deal with the records. And if there's no other follow-up action, then we can close this corrective action accordingly. So this is typically the flow of corrective action. And as I mentioned, there is a reporting tool for every module, so that you can create the ready-made reports. For example, for this corrective action module, you can create the corrective action report, a cost report or action report, for example, and also you can generate a graphical report. For instance, you want to see which department handle the most corrective action, then you can put your condition on your left, like we want to see the responsible department, and set up the time frame for the report. We want to have an annual report like January 1st. Annual, it will be 2019, and then July 7th, 27th. There we go, and we can draw our graph, and all your data will be shown in a bar chart and also in a table. You can export your report into Excel, PDF, or image for sharing with any responsible parties. And coming back to the main menu, then you will see the audit module, which allows you to create your audit planning. And in QDMS, all the planning is the goal that you want to achieve. And you can use this module for auditing your employee for sure, and also you use this module for auditing your supplier or your vendor or subcontractor as well, as an external use. As I mentioned, like we have internal audit planning as a goal. Then you can create some objectives. We call it items in QDMS in order to help you to achieve your goal. For example, like the internal audit planning, then we can create the item. For example, we're auditing different departments, like sales department, production department, packing department, so that we can define our audit item here. And you can schedule your audit, like with the day and also time, the audit subject, invite the auditor and also auditee to this audit as well. And one more good features in this module is you can pick and choose the related question as a reference for the auditor, so that the auditor doesn't have to prepare like 5 pages of questions in order to audit to one employee. And instead, those can be done digitally with the help of QDMS. And you can pick and choose the questions, and the auditor can enter the answer that they get from the auditee and save them in QDMS. And anytime you can come back to the modules and create our report, like the audit score and also options report by questions in QDMS. So by using QDMS, it helps you to be ready for having your audit every day. And in this main menu, you can also see risk assessment, and we can also use this for, we also have the environmental dimension risk assessment, information security, and also material safety, and also FME, food safety here. And I will show you one of the example, and they have a similar approach in QDMS. And as I mentioned, we can create our planning, first of all, for the risk assessment, like what we are going to assess. So for example, right here, you can see health and safety, and we create our planning. And after that, we can have our item. So regarding health and safety, what we have done in terms of risk assessment, like we have one for production department, we have one for shipping, one for packaging, and so on. On the left, you can see different color of this particular item. If they're green, which means the impact of this risk is not critical to our company, and it is not likely to happen in our company or this department. If they're yellow, then we have to pay attention on. And if they are in red, like this one, which means the impact is critical to our company, and it is highly likely to happen in our company as well. And you can create a new one or manage an existing risk assessment item, so that you will see and enter the business area, for example, the source of the risk, the impact, and also how is the impact to our company of this risk, and the likelihood, how likely it will happen in our company as well. And you will see we will have the calculation automatically in terms of the risk index and the score, so that you will get an idea how we should treat with this or handle with this risk that we have. And also, let me put up an example. And also, while you're having your risk assessment, you can have your precaution action as well. Like you can connect with certain documents in order to cope with the risk, or having your corrective action. And let's say that we need a corrective action, then we can either select an existing one or create a new record. If we are having a new record, and QDMS will lead you to the corrective action page. This also shows you the integration within this system. And then I want to show you is FMEA assessment. Like you can have your FMEA assessment here, and create your own plan like for your product, and then create the item for this product assessment. For example, you can base on your serial number or production number or the lot and create your FMEA assessment here. And you can fill up the form right here as the plan end date, generation date, and the step, the classification, potential reasons, the impact, and also the detection here. So what you can see on this form can always be updated based upon the form that you're currently using in your company, which means we can always add or delete any fields that you want to have on this page. And you can create your precaution action here regarding this FMEA assessment record. And at last, you can also create a ready-made FMEA report, which allows you to have a report and all the data in this particular form or in this report. And this is, you will see QDMS start the downloading automatically after you click download. And the template of your report can always be updated. Again, if you think you want to have your FMEA report in certain style, then we can upload a new template based upon what you are using currently as a FMEA report. At last, I want to show you is the PPE. Before that, I will show you the report. Like you can have a report like this for your FMEA report. And it will show you the process item, the steps, and also the failure effect, failure mode, impact, target date, and so on right here. And at last, we come to the PPE module, which is a personal protective equipment management module. And right here in this, your PPE and your equipment to certain users or workers. So you can manage your PPE like the mask, glove, helmet, or some the vent. So right here we have different users. They are coming. They're the users coming from MYOB, and then we can add a new one and start assigning the PPE to this employee. And you can pick and choose like the helmet, glasses, for example, or the face shield, and also the date they will use it. For example, like 13, and how many of them they need. For example, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And the reason why, for example, it is for construction, cleaning, or maintenance. And after that, we can save that, and all these records will be saved in QDMS, which allows you to see what we have assigned it to the users. Like in the report, we can create our utilization list, and you will see what kind of PPE is assigned it to the users. For example, we want to see the helmet, and you will see who have and how we can also keep tracking, and you can see the status is now given. And with helmets, for example, they have to return it because it's also cost to the company for the equipment. If they lost it, that will be a cost to the company. And we want to keep tracking all the equipment has been handled properly. And you can see now I connect QDMS from my web browser. So once you install QDMS on your on-premise or cloud server, then you can connect it with your web browser like Firefox, Google Chrome, or IE, or now they call, we don't have IE. Actually, it is Microsoft Edge. But QDMS has its native mobile application. So you can download QDMS for your Android device or iOS device, which means you can connect to QDMS on your handheld device like your smartphone or tablet. And this is my smartphone running as Android system. And you can find all the pending tasks right after you log in, and you can find all the same data set that you can see in your web browser because they are coming from and going to the same database. And you can see the main menu and start menu like perform, for example, which allows you to have to manage your all your requests or approvals anytime and anywhere with the internet connection. It's come to the end of my demonstration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the demonstration. Much appreciated. Let me share my screen again, and then we'll come to the Q&A session. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So let's see. So we have been receiving some questions in our chat box. Some of them coming to the public chat box. Some of them coming to the private chat box. So let's go over those, and then oops, sorry, and then we'll understand. So one of the questions is about the mobile app. I think we addressed that. Is the mobile app iOS compatible? Yes. So the one that Sam just showed you, the mobile device is actually working with Android as well as mobile. So you have two options basically. So that is available. You can just download it from the app store and you can run it. Very much. That's easy. Another question that we have is, can we manage more than one quality management system in QDMS? So the answer is yes. You may be complying with, let's say, DRC or SPF or let's say ISO 22000, for example. And then if you want to, if you're also complying with, let's say, ISO 14000 at the same time, which is very typical. If that is the case, then you can manage both systems in QDMS, so that is not a problem at all. Another question that we have is about the number of modules that needs to be had. So what is the number of minimum number of modules that you can have on QDMS? So there is no minimum actually. So you can have one module as a start, or you can have more than one module. That is perfectly fine. Typically, our customers typically get a couple of modules, but rarely we also see some of them they get one module only, and then they add more modules later on. So that's perfectly fine. The priority is what is the challenge of the customer, right? So we like to have the customer and address those challenges. That's critical. In that sense, as I mentioned earlier, we are channel only. We sell to our partners only. So with our partners, we ask 3 questions to our customers. What do you comply? How do you comply? What is your challenge? I comply with BRC. I comply with ISO 9001. I comply on paper. And my challenge is I have too much paperwork. I have hard time managing it and hard time passing audit when it comes to be audited by OSHA, for example. So we can address it. So customers can pick and choose any module they like with any number. There is no limit or there is no minimum requirement. Another question is about integration points that we have with MYOB Advanced. So right now we have a foundational integration, as we call it. What it means is we are actually pulling the master data from MYOB Advanced into QDMS, meaning we are getting customer information, vendor, supplier information, product information, and also we are getting the HR information, meaning users and employees, into QDMS. That is I will say, the minimum amount of data that we need to help you manage your quality management system. So it depends on the project. We typically integrate with the MYOB Advanced and other ERP systems. Typically, we've been doing it for many, many years, as I mentioned, since 1998. So typically, we integrate with pulling and pushing invoices. That's very typical. For quality control, we integrate with purchase orders, for example, to MYOB Advanced and other ERP systems to help you pull it. These are very typical. So we are very flexible in terms of integration points. I have another question about root cause analysis. Do you have any tools available for root cause analysis in corrective action module? Yes. So we didn't cover that part because we have a lot to do today. And if you like to see, we can always schedule time with you, and we can also show you how it is done. So there are different ways to do a study for root cause analysis. Typical ones are 5 why analysis, very typical. There is an 8D approach, also very common. I will say there is a turtle diagram, which is very common in quality management community, as we know it. There are also other ways to analyze. For example, fishbone, Ishikawa, root cause analysis. So all these tools, we have them available. What we like to do is, if you're interested, we keep our contact information on the screen. So please send us an email, and we can schedule one-to-one session, and we can show you how these tools are actually working for you. We'll be happy to do it. So we can, talk further, and we can show you how they are running. Let's see if I have any other questions. So I have also other questions in the chat box. Let me go over it quickly. So as for partners onboarding, I mean, we love to partner with you, first of all, and we appreciate your interest in these webinars. So what we do is, for partnership, once we officiate our partnership with our channel partner agreement, we train our partners. Typically, the training is about pre-sale, is to be able to talk about QDMS and quality management systems in general. And then and then we basically do these trainings periodically until you feel comfortable. And of course, we are always ready to join your meetings with customers to support your efforts. I mean, it goes without saying, not a problem. That will be our pleasure. As for implementation, we take care of implementation, and our support is 24/7. So once we deploy QDMS on a cloud environment or on an on-premise server, customer gets the support from us 24/7, and we can be the local first-level support, but our support is 24/7 and available. Let me see. Another question is, yes. So the presentation of these of today's webinar and the recording will be available. We'll send it to you via email, YouTube link, as well as PDF version. Okay, great. Looks like we addressed all the questions. As I mentioned, we have our contact information on the screen, and we'll be happy to talk further and schedule one-to-one meeting with you. We'll be happy to do that. Please send us an email, and we'll schedule time. Also, before we end this webinar, I'd like to invite you to our YouTube channel. We have a very active YouTube channel. We invite you to subscribe so that you can see our recorded webinar sessions. We have a lot of recorded webinar sessions, very informative, very insightful. So please subscribe and follow our YouTube channel. You are more than welcome. Also coming soon, we have a new product called Synergy. That's a content services platform, totally native cloud. It runs only cloud, basically, on SaaS base. It has a workflow engine, document management engine, as well as dashboard and capture OCR capabilities. So it's a very modern system, especially nowadays. We face COVID-19, and remote work is more important than ever. So Bimser's Synergy content services platform to help companies automate their business processes and manage their performance activities. So it is a great solution. We'll be sharing more information about Synergy soon with MYOB ecosystem, and we'll also make Synergy available in MYOB marketplace as well. That's our goal. Great. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. Please send us an email if you'd like to schedule time, and if you'd like to go within QDMS as well as quality management with QDMS and MYOB Advanced and other MYOB solutions. We look forward to seeing you in our coming webinar session. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.